Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Bling. I'm your host, EP17. Alright, so today we want to discuss and talk about HIV and AIDS. No? I know everyone knows about HIV and AIDS, but yeah, I have someone here who will give us information about how HIV is transmitted and how we can prevent HIV, the symptoms and testing, right?
Yes.
All right. He will introduce himself.
Okay, my name is Kelvin Owen, and just to correct, not everyone knows about HIV and AIDS. But
Everyone
then,
knows.
okay, everyone knows there's HIV and AIDS out there, but then not many of them know
What
real
it is
details
about.
about HIV because
Yeah.
people just think like there's HIV, okay, it causes AIDS. That's it. What next? They don't know. So at least maybe this will give them an insight of what HIV is all about and more details about it. Sure.
All right. My first question is, what is HIV and how is it transmitted?
Uh, First of all, HIV stands for Human Immune Deficiency Virus. So it attacks humans, and immunodeficiency means it weakens your immune system. Deficiency, it means something that is not enough. So it just weakens the immune system. And this is a virus. So HIV is a virus that attacks human beings and weakens their immune system, which causes AIDS, which is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is AIDS, which is it's more like a condition or a syndrome that is acquired or something that you get to get for someone or from somewhere. Yeah. So HIV is transmitted through body fluids, most specifically through blood. So there are lots of ways that okay, through blood with someone who has the virus. So you can get it from someone who is positive, let's say uh, during sexual cohabitation. You can also talk of maybe sharing sharp objects with someone who is infected. Uh, some talk of deep kisses. All those, as far as your blood is becoming in contact with someone who is HIV positive, then you're also in danger of uh, getting HIV.
Right. Have you talked about AIDS?
Yeah, I just said a little about it. I said AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, right? So AIDS is not a disease; it's a syndrome, or it's a condition that by the end of the day makes your body to be prone to several diseases. So it is related to HIV simply because this syndrome is caused by the virus called HIV. So when one has the virus, it will cause their immune system to be weakened, which makes the body to be uh, prone to several diseases. You can talk of TB, polio. You can also talk of STIs and everything. Your body cannot defend itself against all these causing diseases or all these pathogens that can cause diseases. So AIDS is just a syndrome that engulfs or uncovers or embodies all the infections that get to come when your immune system has been weakened by the virus called HIV.
How does it relate to HIV?
That's what I just said, to say HIV is the one that causes AIDS. So that's the relationship that is there.
All right. How is HIV diagnosed?
Diagnosed. Okay.
Diagnosed.
HIV is diagnosed in different ways. You have different tests that gets to be carried out. When you go to the hospital, there's this usual test that they do. They will take blood, let's say from your finger, a blood sample from your finger, and then they put it on a virus detector. So at the end of the day, it gets to tell whether you're positive or negative. You also have PRS, which is more rapid, or which is more sensitive, or which is more effective, simply because even if you have let's say fewer viruses in your body, let's say you've just contacted it yesterday, or maybe 2 days or a week ago, you can use this system which ends up multiplying all the viruses that are available. So when they multiply, it's easier for you to see that the person has the virus in their body. You can also use HIV self-test kits, which you can get a blood sample from yourself, and and wait for some hours, and then you get the results, whether positive or negative.
All right. What are the stages of HIV infection?
For you, the first one, you talk of the contamination. So this is a stage whereby you've just had contact with someone who is HIV positive, or someone who is affected by HIV. After that, you have a window period. You can call it probation. This is a period whereby the virus has entered into your body and it has started attacking your cells, and it starts to multiply. So this period is a stage whereby when you go to the hospital and use any other testing method, you want to know, it won't easily be detected that you're positive, simply because the virus hasn't multiplied in your body rapidly. But when you use the most effective one, the PRS, that one, obviously you have you'll be able to know that you have the virus. And in this period, you might be healthier, simply because the immune system hasn't been weakened yet, so it is able to defend itself against several diseases. After the wane period, you have that period when you start being attacked by several diseases, and that's when people say you have AIDS, because it is not possible to tell just maybe by appearance that you might, or maybe to predict to say you might have AIDS, HIV or not, during the window period. But in this stage, you'll be able to know, simply because your body will be generally weak, and you have several signs of several diseases. You talk of fever and what have you, and that's usually the last stage. And at this stage, any test that you can take, you'll be able to tell whether you're positive or negative. Yeah.
Can HIV be cured? Because we've heard many people saying they've been cured from HIV. Others who have gone to prophets and prayed for them. Others who have taken herbs and they say they are cured from HIV. So can HIV be cured?
HIV doesn't have cure. at the ground right now. Most of the times, what happens is the recently or in the past decade, we've had several medications that have been found that help to weaken the effects of HIV or AIDS. Or, for example, we can talk of ARVs. These are medications that are taken to boost your immune system. As I said earlier, that AIDS is not a disease; it's just a syndrome. It's just something that you have your immune system weakened, and your body is easily attacked by several pathogens or by several diseases or several infections. So when you have these ARVs that will boost your immune system, you will end up it will be able to defend itself against several diseases. So most of the times when people have taken these ARVs and they're following a proper procedure, they'll look healthier and they won't suffer any diseases. Maybe even in 2-3 years consecutive without going to the hospital saying I'm sick. Simply because the virus has been weakened or the immune system has been boosted. But scientifically, there hasn't been any medicine that has been discovered that will say it can cure ARV or HIV. Yes. Maybe just to add an insight on why you cannot easily cure HIV is because HIV is a virus, as we said, and most of the times these viruses they actually adapt to the environment. They can change several shapes. So most of the times, what medicine does when you're treating diseases, it attacks the cause. When the cause has been defeated, you're free of the infection. But then for HIV, the virus it can change its shapes. So, for example, if you give it medicine to defeat it, it will just change its shape, and maybe the medicine that we've given it, it won't be able to tell that this is the virus that is hiding here. So that's why it is very difficult so far to treat or to have medicine for HIV.
All right. How effective are condoms in preventing HIV transmission?
I usually say condoms are 80 to 19% safe when it comes to protecting
90?
you. 80 to 90% when it comes to protecting you against HIV. Simply because these are rubbers, and these rubbers are prone to bursting. There's friction down there when you're having the sexual intimacy, so they might end up bursting and have the uh, your blood or your fluids come in contact. So that's what uh, reduces its effectiveness. But when they have been used properly, when you wear them properly, as it's usually advised, then you can have a 90% guarantee that you will not contact HIV from someone who is affected.
All right. I want to ask this question. What is the difference between PrEP and PrEP?
PrEP, we'll start with PrEP. This is a something that you take maybe before having an intercourse with someone who is affected. So it's there to make your body ready for this virus. So when you take PrEP, your body is ready for the virus that is in case you sleep with someone who is affected. So it's something that you take before, and it's usually taken once in a period of 6 months, and after that period of 6 months, then you you are advised to take another dose of PrEP. While PrEP is called post. So it's something that you take after the intercourse, and it's usually taken within 28 days after. Okay, it's taken within 24 hours. It has to be taken within 24 hours after having an intercourse, and at the same time, it has to be taken for 28 days continuously. This usually, let's say for example, slept with someone who is affected, and then when you start taking PrEP, it usually hunts these viruses and make them inactive or unable to multiply in the body. So it is taken for 28 days consecutive, simply because it has to go around your body searching where the virus might hide. So when you take it for those 28 days, if there are any traces left, that means they'll be able to be defeated within that period. But continuous taking of both PrEP and PEP might become infective, simply because the virus will end up adapting to it. So it will be able to change itself in a ways that when you take these medicines, they won't be able to find these viruses. Thereby, you end up suffering, or you end up contaminating the virus.
And what are the early symptoms of HIV infection?
First symptoms is usually the onset of several diseases in your body. You get to suffer from several diseases. You talk of fever, headache. Your immune has been weakened, and you get attacked by several diseases. So usually the symptoms that will be portrayed or that will be shown are those for the diseases that you get to suffer in that period. So, and you easily suspect that maybe it's HIV or it's AIDS, because you have signs of different diseases at once. So that's when you can easily know that this person might be having HIV and AIDS.
Alright. How often should someone get tested for HIV?
It's advised at least monthly, once in a month, simply because um, let's say for example you sleep with someone this month, you go for testing, you do the regular test, and you find out that you're negative. You have to do it next month or the other month, or you have to do it continuously just to be sure of your healthy. Because sometimes it's not just about maybe sleeping someone. As I said, you can also share sharp objects with someone who's contaminated. For example, a razor blade and what have you, unknowingly, and then you end up getting the virus from those ones. So that's why it is advised to make sure that at least monthly you go for testing. It doesn't matter whether you're using the most effective one, the PRS, or you're using the regular testing. You actually have to go monthly, simply because you might not know where you have contaminated the virus. Sure.
Alright. Can HIV testing be done at home?
Yes, it can be done with the help of self-testing kits. So this is the good part of self-testing kits. What you do is you simply go to the hospital, you collect the self-testing kit. You can go into your room, collect your blood sample, and then put it on the virus detector. You wait for some hours there with no one, just yourself, and then it will get to tell you whether you are positive or negative. So that makes it possible to test HIV at your home. It's different from regular tests because their procedures are usually known by medical practitioners or those that are assigned to be testing blood. So with the coming of self-test kits, then yes, you can test it everywhere you want, including your homes.
All right. Can HIV be managed without medication? I've heard stories whereby uh, the is it infected?
The infected.
Yeah, infected ones. They say I will not be taking ARVs because San and Yanj. Yeah, so they say I'm leaving without taking medication. So can HIV be managed without medication?
No, it cannot. Those who say my ARVs are guayanja, or maybe they're not seeing benefits from ARVs, or maybe they seem fine without the ARVs. It can happen that at that time maybe the virus is just inactive, and when it's inactive, that means it won't weaken your immune system, thereby your body will still be able to defend itself against diseases. So the moment the virus starts, when it becomes active, then that's the time when you will start seeing the signs and symptoms or the effects of not taking the medication. So those that say mankwala sagundi anja are those that usually don't follow the right procedures of how to take the medicine. You see some that maybe they'll take today and then they'll say, I'm tired of taking medicine. They'll rest it for 2 days. Your body won't properly respond to the medicine. So that's why you'd end up saying in a mankwala sagundi anja. But usually when you're taking the medicine in a proper way that the doctors told you, then you're sure that you might not easily suffer, or you might not easily be attacked by different diseases.
Right. What are the emotion and mental health challenges of living with HIV?
There is okay. The first thing is we can talk of ignorance, where most people uh, feel like having HIV then is an end of life. Yeah, so that ignorance makes them, the moment they find out that they're HIV positive, it takes them into a depression stage. They usually have the stress and anxiety because all they have in their mind is, I think I'll die anytime soon. So that's the first thing that affects the emotional and mental part. On the same thing of ignorance, because most people don't know that HIV is not the end of life. When someone knows that you're positive, they will start discriminating you. They will start judging you. They will start saying several things that will happen because you are HIV positive. That gets into your mind and it ends up affecting your mental health. Every time you get to be thinking to say, let's talk of discrimination part. Most of the times you'll be in lonely places, no one to talk to, no one to speak to. So it gets to give you so many thoughts about life, which ends up deteriorating your mental health and your emotions at the same time. So yes, HIV usually affects your mental health and your emotions, and it does due to ignorance. People don't know that you can live with HIV and stay for 30 or 40 years alive, as far as you're following the right procedures that the doctors get to give you. So when you do it without ignorance, then the mental health and the emotions effects will be minimized.
So how can someone disclose their HIV status to others?
Usually that depends on how the relationship that you have with people that you want to disclose. For example, let's start with your spouse. Your spouse, you have to tell them that you're positive, because the moment you're telling them, you're protecting them. And you have to make sure that the spouse you're telling is someone that will understand you, to say I'm positive, maybe, and then try to explain to them how they can also be protected, because someone who is positive, they're usually told how they can protect their friends or their spouses. So you have to open up to your spouse, so they just have to protect them. So that's the first step that people know of your status. Secondly, let's say you're a child in a family and then you've been found positive, and maybe your parents are both negative. You still have to open up to them, because these are the ones who give you right advice for you to go to the hospital, for you to be getting the right treatment, and even the ones that will be advising you to follow the procedures that will be given at the hospital. And your family is the one that is always going to protect you no matter what. Yeah, so you can tell your family that I'm positive, and then the family will give you the full support. That means even if that you don't have friends outside, but you have the back of your family who are always willing to support you. From there, there are times that you have friends that you can open up. You can talk of a best friend, someone who's been there maybe much of your life. So when you tell them that you're positive, and most of the times these friends, they become family, the ones that you can easily open up. You tell them that I'm positive, this and that. And when you tell them, actually, it also be an opportunity with that friend to gain knowledge about the virus itself. Because, as I said, when you go to the hospital and you're positive, you're taught how you can protect your friends or your spouse. So you can also share knowledge with your friend to say, okay, I am positive, this and that, and then uh, you also tell them what you get advised at the hospital. That's how you can easily disclose your issue. Otherwise, it's not something that you can go on public and then say it, because that will give you several criticisms. But to only those that care and truly care about you, then yeah, you can easily share with them.
Can someone living with HIV have children?
Yes, HIV doesn't make you infertile. It only affects your health, whereby you can be attacked by several diseases. But then the moment you start taking treatment, there is no way that you can easily suffer from all sorts of diseases. So that doesn't make you unable to have children. And it's also very possible for someone who is HIV positive to have children and their spouse negative, uh, provided they're following the right procedures. So HIV isn't the end of life. So if it's not the end of life, that means you can continue making lives. So you can have as many children as you have, and as far as you're following the right procedures, your child will be safe from HIV and AIDS. And you always have to make sure that you have to go to the hospital regularly, or according to how your doctors advise you, so that you should have proper checkups and be advised how you can take care of your spouse and maybe your unborn child.
All right. Yeah, so that is the end of our podcast, this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
To my audience, this is the end of this episode. Until the next episode, until the next one, until the next one on the blend. Yes, bye.